What was the transition like from college sports to now your professional career?
That was a really hard transition, I'll be honest. I think that when you go to a school like Texas A&M that is so sport oriented, it's a Division 1 school. They have massive support. They have massive funding. So everything is taken care of for you. Like when you're on travel trips, you're fed, you got treatment, you have your hotel, everything is taken care of. And then as you switch to professional in track and field, at least it's not a huge sport in the US. I think it'd be different if I was like in Europe. There's not lot of support. There's not a lot of funding. There's not a lot of places to go if you want to pursue track professionally. Most people will stick with their college coach if they allow that, if they still want to coach you. But with that, like they're prioritizing the college team because and so their schedule, all of that is the college team. You just try to make it work when you can. Um, I was fortunate enough to get recruited from the 2016 Olympic trials. I went in there and I had the meet of my life at that time. I broke the school record, so I think I finished eighth overall, or no, sixth, no, sixth or eighth, I can't remember. And so I got recruited there to come train full time at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, and I'm so beyond grateful for that because I don't know that I would have made it post collegiately if I hadn't had that resource. Because it's basically like a little compound where they have like a dining hall, they have sports med clinic, they kind of helped us at the time. They had funding to help us with like domestic travel meets, so it was like a little bit of an easier transition. But it's just hard because it's all on you. Like it all has to come from you. No one is going to hold your hand through anything, and that learning curve is really hard. And then also, I think just the learning curve of the nutrition aspect and like learning my metabolics and my metabolism slowed down, and I didn't know how to fuel myself properly, and all of that I had to figure out on my own, and that was really hard.
Let's get into that. So, what tweaks did you have to make in that transition to really get an edge in your performance and to continue to improve? I know you made some big nutrition changes. So, what were some of those changes?
Yeah, gosh. I mean, I look back at like even at A&M, I think I struggled. And I think it's as females, our bodies are so complex. It's so different from males, like with our hormones and just everything about women. Everyone is so different. And so I really struggled even in college to figure out, in high school, I was like super skinny. My metabolism was great. It slowed down a lot, probably like my sophomore year of college. Um, and kind of like the freshman, whatever, freshman 10, freshman 15. Soccer also is very different because we ran so much. You can kind of get away with eating different things and not being too worried about it. And then track is totally different, where like it comes down to milliseconds. So your body fat percentage and things like that are really important, your muscle mass um, ratios. And so I kind of bouncing back between the two was kind of hard because I'd have like more muscle from soccer in my legs, and then I have to transition to soccer or into track. And I never really felt like I met nutritionists that actually helped me in college. I really struggled, so I was just on my own. It felt like trying to, just throw a noodle at the wall and hope it sticks and see kind of what works for my body. I felt like kind of started figuring that out towards the end of my college career. But I mean, we had like coaches that would come to me and say like, if you lost like 5 pounds, you'd be so much better, and like things like that that really mess with you mentally. So I struggled with the nutrition aspect probably until I met Cynthia. Because I just didn't know how to fuel properly. I really would, even once I got to the training center in Chula Vista, my training partners' metabolisms were like insane. They'd eat like, I'm like, I remember one night my training partner was like, "Yeah, I had Totino's pizza last night," and I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Like, I'm like killing myself trying to eat healthy, and I'm not seeing any results. I gained, I think I gained like 10 pounds post collegiate, like from like the prime of my collegiate career transitioning. I got injured. And then coming back from that injury was really hard. My body, I gained like 10 pounds. I could not for the life of me, like, trim down and get lean. And I really struggled mentally with that until I met Cynthia, and she just completely changed my life. Like, to be completely honest, and not even just in a performance aspect, but a health aspect of just really giving me tools and knowledge that finally worked for me. And I am so grateful for that. I met her kind of like a God thing. It's just everything happens for a reason. I was like on vacation with my boyfriend's family. I met, and her husband was our bartender at our hotel, and so we like got to chatting that way. Yeah, and he was like, "I think my wife could really help you." We ended up like going with Zane and his and their boys to like a local waterfall and like hanging out with them. And it was the end of our trip, so I actually didn't meet her on that vacation, but she was in Long Beach at a track meet. She was running masters track and field, and reached out to me. We got dinner, and she just like, I was all in after that dinner. She blew my mind with her knowledge, and I did everything she told me to. She talked a lot about how like, because my she does this pinch test thing, and so like, and we've done like DEXA scans in college where they'll get your like body fat percentage, but it doesn't pinpoint where you're storing fat and why. And that was the biggest thing that I think she showed me, where she does this pinch test. She'll take all these points of your body and figure out how much fat you have and where you're storing your fat and why. And like, so for me, for example, like my hamstrings and my butt and my thighs was always like my problem area. I'm like, I cannot for the life of me trim down there. And she's like, "Oh, well, that means you're storing toxins in your body. So we need to like detox and you need to get all the toxins out." She's like, "What are you using with fragrance?" I'm like, "Well, I burn candles all the time. I'm using dry shampoo every single day with fragrance in it. Like everything I had had fragrance." She's like, "Okay, we'll get rid of everything of that. You're going to only use like things with essential oil. We're not burning candles anymore." Like things like that, that I'm like, I've never heard this in my life. So I did all of that. She put me on a protocol strictly for my body. And that's the thing too. It's like there's so many like one size fits all things. And I just feel like Cynthia really looked at my body and what my body needs to perform and get it to optimal performance, and how I can handle carbs really well. I didn't think that. I can have potatoes, but you need to have them at night. She put me on a full eating protocol, a supplement protocol, where she found out where my deficiencies were, where my hormone imbalances were, and put me on a supplement protocol specifically for my body to balance everything out. And then the way I eat and how I eat was totally different. She had a whole list of foods that you'd think were healthy that I'm like, that weren't good for me. So it was just like she blew my mind, and I went all in on everything. And this was like, I was in season, and I was at like probably the fittest I had been since I had been a professional athlete. So I didn't think I had as much to lose, but I lost, this was, I think, in like April. So I think in 6 weeks, so to like nationals, I lost 6% body fat. I PR'd a foot and a half in the long jump. I had a personal best in the hurdles, and then I had an overall personal best in the heptathlon score. I made my first world championships team and placed like 11th in the world that year. And I was like, finally, I was like, this is it. I figured it out. This is amazing. So I was all in, and I've been eating that way and doing that ever since. And it's completely changed my life.
I love hearing that, and I've heard a lot of these amazing stories with Cynthia and some of
Yeah.
the people she's worked with. I've done her protocol as well, and I still do it, but
Yeah.
you just really have to unlearn everything you've been taught. And I find it so interesting that you said that you were supposedly doing everything right in college and eating quote unquote healthy, but you were
Yeah.
still not getting a body composition that was ideal for performance.
No.
So, what were you eating before
Yeah.
that you thought was good for you? Like, what did your day consist of for food?
Yeah. Well, even like the nutritionists that I work with, they're like, okay, do like the food diary and like keep a log of like however many days, and let's go over it. So I would do that. And I remember sitting with them, and like one of like the one, even at, this is at the Olympic Training Center. So this is supposed to be the best of the best, best in the world. And I was sat there, and she looked at everything. She's like, "Oh yeah, looks like you're doing pretty good. Like you've got your carbs in the morning, like you've got like Greek yogurt, like you have salads in there, like." And I was eating, I remember eggs. I was eating eggs every morning. Um I do like, I think I'd do like a scramble in the morning. Maybe like if it was a harder day, I'd throw in like um not a biscuit, but like a muffin thing with like peanut butter and like banana. Or I do like oatmeal in the morning. I was like my thing before meat. So I was like, okay, I got my oatmeal and my eggs, and I'm good to go. That was like my college breakfast, and it's so funny too because I never my energy like was just so I like even just getting on the line to warm up, I just felt like I was dragging. I didn't have the energy to like get through practice, and my body composition wasn't where it was at. So I wasn't eating enough protein. I was eating the wrong type of carbs all day, the wrong type of carbs. I
What
wasn't
were
eating
you what
actually
were you snacking on usually?
snacks were like I have like pretzels like in the afternoon sometimes. I honestly didn't snack much too because I felt like I was just trying I like didn't I wanted to lose
Mhm.
weight, and so I wasn't snacking probably enough. I wasn't eating the right snacks. I would do like rice cakes. I would have like, like a cereal at night, or like a gluten free, or like granola with like a Greek yogurt or something like that. So like things like that, that my nutritionists were telling me, yeah, that's a great option. Like, and I remember she looked at my food diary and she like tweaked like maybe one thing. I think she said like at night if I didn't want a Greek yogurt, I could do like protein, like a protein shake or something. And that was like the one tweak that she made. And then Cynthia, like, she's like, okay, well, we're eating like steak in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
what? She's like, we're eating steak in the morning. You're going to have either steak, chicken, salmon with like nuts or avocado and like some berries. And I'm like, all right. And I remember the first 2 weeks, it was kind of hard. It was like weird. I'm like, this is so bizarre. I'm cooking a steak in the morning. And now I literally can't imagine my life without it. I'm like, my mouth waters in the morning for steak. My energy shot through the roof. Like I had so much energy to get through practice. I could sustain. She had me drinking a protein shake as soon as I was done within like within an hour of finishing training, with the supplements that she gave me, like glutamate and glutamine, which is or glutamate from ATP Labs, which is like glycine and glutamate or glutamine. Sorry.
I love
Um,
ATP. I have their grass-fed
oh,
whey right here.
it's
So
the best,
good.
isn't it? So good. It's
It's
the best.
amazing.
Yeah. And even that, she gave me that, and she's like that. They are based out of Canada, and their protocols are way cleaner. They have like a windowsill test to make sure there's no dust in the rooms where they make all their products. Like it's super clean. So yeah, got me connected with them. I mean, it was a lot of here are the foods that are going to be good for you, and here's when to eat them and why, and like have your carbs, but make sure they're colored potatoes at night. You're having fruit like berries during the day, or an apple or a pear for a snack with like almond butter. Um, Instead of peanut butter, because like we don't want peanuts. So it was just a lot of knowledge that I had, like you're right, you have to unlearn. But I bought into it, and I'm like, why is this not being taught in high school and college? And it's just like there's so much misinformation I feel like out there about nutrition and how to fuel properly, and just to how to have better health. So she's just completely changed my life, and it shows. I mean, I've gotten to where I am because of that. I really don't think that I would have gotten to where I am if I didn't have those resources, and I'm forever grateful.